Hi, Karen. Can you hear this?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Maybe the trick is to have only one microphone at a time.
They do work. All right. I would like to call to order our November 3rd, 2022 joint workshop meeting with the Board of Aldermen and the ABC Board. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate everyone arranging their schedules so we could be here today for this. I would like to call on, for our invocation, I would like to call on Zach from the ABC Board to give our invocation. This will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Gracious God, we come here today. Gracious God, we come here today to learn more about our roles in this city as we are servants for the people here. We ask that you continue to bless us with good health and wisdom so that we may be best servants for this town. And we pray this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Zach. I want to welcome those who are here in the audience, so to speak. Thank you for being here. Thank the press. Elliot Duke, thank you for being here and covering our meeting. Cheyenne, thank you for arranging for this live setup. Randy, thank you for being here. Madam Clerk, thank you. And again, boards, thank you for being here. And we have from the ABC Commission, Ms. Renee Metz, thank you for being here today and helping us with this discussion. And again, this is, as in the invocation, we're here to learn more about our roles in the city, in particular with respect to what the ABC Board does and the relationship it has with the Southport Board of Aldermen. So this is a learning experience, an education experience, and good for all of us to be together in the same room. So I would like to go around the room, and I will start with Alderman Lombardi. If you would just introduce yourself to Ms. Metz.
My name is Tom Lombardi. Oh, forgot. My name is Tom Lombardi. What else do you want me to say? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an alderman.
Hi, my name is John Allen. I'm an alderman here in Southport. Thanks.
My name is William Davis. I'm the chairman of the ABC Board in Southport.
And I'm Zach Sulke, a member of the ABC Board.
Angela Wadsworth, member of the ABC Board.
Todd Dunn, General Manager of the ABC Board.
I'm Rich Alt with the Aldermen.
Bonnie Therian, interim city manager. Interim city manager.
And Joe Hayden, Mayor. So again, thank you for joining us. And what I would like to do is turn it over to you, Ms. Metz, and you can get us started on some of the questions that you've received and what the role of the ABC Board is, and any other comments you would like to make. After that, we'll have questions and comments from the Board of Aldermen, and then questions and comments from the ABC Board.
Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss this matter with you. There is often a lot of confusion as to what an ABC board actually is. Is it a city government? Is it a state government? And it's one of those in between. It's not really a city or a county entity, but a lot of its policies and procedures are copied from the appointing authority. So, and sometimes the appointing authority will offer something such as retirement for those ABC board members. So it's as unique as the various environments and communities that we have around the state. So it's not clearly one way or the other. A lot of the local government do apply to the ABC boards. Now, as far as the Board of Aldermen's role, their role is mainly appointment and oversight. Kind of like the ABC Commission. We're the state commission. We do not own or control any of the 171 ABC boards in the state. But we have the authority to step in if there becomes a problem that does not get resolved. Same as the Board of Aldermen. If there is a problem, they can remove a board member from the ABC board, not the Board of Aldermen. So kind of a parental role, not really too hands-on, but has the authority to step in when needed. A lot of the questions posed can be found in 18B 700. The 700s, if you don't have a copy of that, the ABC board should have one, but if not, please let me know, and we can certainly provide a copy for the Board of Aldermen. Though I have to warn you that because of all the changes that happened this summer, our current book is out of date. We have a new one being published in December, but that will probably soon be out of date after the General Assembly comes into session in January. So at least it will get you started with where you need to review things. Some of your questions are employment law based, and that is not an area that I'm an expert in. Things about favoritism, inappropriate business practices. If it's employee related, then I would recommend going to the Department of Labor, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, etc. However, if there's a criminal element to it and you want somebody investigated for potential criminal charges, that would be an alcohol law enforcement task. You could certainly reach out to them directly, or you could reach out to the commission and we would refer it to alcohol law enforcement. The ABC Commission does not have any investigators into violations of the ABC law. So we would refer that to alcohol law enforcement. So if you have questions about inappropriate business practices, I would recommend reaching out to your local ALE agent. If you do not have that information, I can certainly share district office information with you. Regarding the reporting to from the ABC board to the Board of Aldermen, that is really between you and your relationship. The ABC boards are public entities. You are in charge of the monies of the public. So there's not much that either the commission as a state agency or the local boards cannot share. So records are public, meetings are public, Unless there's a specific personnel matter, then you can go into closed session for that personnel matter. So it's really more of a relationship issue as to how involved the Board of Aldermen wants to be and how comfortable the local board, ABC board, is in letting them be directly involved. Now, ultimately, decisions are the boards, the ABC boards, but certainly as the appointing authority, the Board of Aldermen, their easy action is not reappointing a ABC board member when their term is up. That's really the most control that the board will have without specific wrongdoing. Regarding, let me see, the guidance for local officials as to who to appoint, there's actually a phrase in 18B 700, subparagraph D is in dog. The appointing authority shall appoint members of a local board on the basis of the appointee's interest in public affairs, good judgment, knowledge, ability, and good moral character. Now, the Board of Aldermen can certainly choose how they go about making those appointments, whether it's via interview or just simply submitting a request and evaluated by committee. All of that can be set up by the local appointing authority and the local ABC. So how you choose to do that really is up to you, as long as they meet those moral, character, knowledge, ability. Yes. Who approves the ABC board budget and finances? That is the ABC board. They are required by statute to prepare a budget and have hearings on it and ultimately record a final budget. And that statute is under 18B 702. I'm an attorney, so I'm going to throw a bunch of statutes at you. Okay, where did it go? There it is. The budget shall be entered in the minutes of the local board and within 5 days after adoption, and copies thereof shall be filed with the finance officer, the budget officer, the appointing authority, and the commission. So even though the ABC board votes on it and approves it, that information has to be shared with, in this case, the Board of Aldermen and the ABC commission. So there is a procedure in the 18B 700s for that. Who oversees the contracts, construction, deliveries, vendors? That would also be the ABC board. And those paragraphs are also in 18B 702. But those are subparagraphs about K through R. There is a lot in 18B 702, and I would strongly encourage you to look at actually all of the 18B 700s, if you have not already. 18B 702 has to do with financial operations. So what the first few are about the budget and how that needs to be done. Then we get into some of the roles and duties of the finance officer of the ABC board. What type of accounting system, how to respond. The board does have, the ABC board does have the authority to override the finance officer in decisions. Rules about borrowing money versus investing money. There are guidelines on that. And then there are some discussions about penalties and criminal statutes. So there's a lot of information to help guide the local ABC board in how to proceed. There is also a requirement that all members of the ABC board take ethics training. So hopefully some of that information and ethics training will help them understand how to move forward. And that's one role that Christine Twining has, is she's fantastic with the financial side. She's with the ABC Commission, and she travels around the state and meets with local boards and helps answer any questions they may have about the financial side. She does numbers, I do not. So Christine would be a good resource if you have any questions. Who does the audits? We do have one ABC Commission auditor specifically for the ABC boards, and that's more of an annual, or is there a problem they need to look into? But the statutes do require, again, in 18B 702, and this subparagraph is S as in Sam, there's an annual audit required by the ABC board to be conducted and then shared with the ABC Commission and the appointing authority. So the ABC board is required to do an annual audit via CPA or someone otherwise qualified and submit those findings to both the Board of Aldermen and the ABC Commission. Responsibility and authority over ABC store personnel. That is the ABC board. That is under 18B 701, A3. And that has to do with the powers, 701 is the powers and duties of local ABC boards. And that particular subparagraph gives them the authority to hire and fire employees for the ABC system. So the things that are specifically delegated to the ABC boards can be found in 18B 701. Adopt rules for its system, submit it to the ABC Commission for approval, designate one employee as manager and determine his responsibilities, require bonds of employees, operate ABC stores, operate local ABC officers, borrow money, buy and lease real and personal property, and so on. So there are some specifically delegated duties regarding the board. If we're getting into the function of the individual stores, then that's under the 800s. You'd want to go to 18B 800 and on. But if we're just talking about the authorities of the ABC board, then you would need to look at the 700s. Are ABC store workers state or city employees? Well, really neither. Again, they're kind of an in-between. They can get some benefits of the appointing authority if the appointing authority so chooses. So they're really not either. Again, the ABC boards are kind of a strange little in-between entity, not quite a government, a local government, but not quite private entity. You are still responsible for the citizens' money, which is what you receive when they purchase their spirits liquor. Overall governance structure, I think I've done some of that. The first thing says what kind of ABC board. I'm assuming that means commission. Again, that's some of our strange little language is that the state agency, the oversight agency, is the state ABC commission. Again, we do have some authority to come in and step in if there's a problem that can't be taken care of. In my 19 years here, I have only known of one, maybe two. No, I know one we actually shut down until our pricing person could go in and clean up what had been happening. We have had, I think, 2 hearings for removal of ABC board members. So it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while it will come up to the commission if there's something that can't be handled between the appointing authority and the local ABC board. And the removal procedure that the Board of Aldermen has the authority on is 18B 704. So if you want to see the process, if you're having an issue with a particular ABC board member, then that would state the procedure and the standards that you would comply with in order to remove them from the board. A lot of the beginning of 18B 700 has to do with the appointing authority. So that would be where it would be good for the Board of Aldermen to understand at the beginning what their role is. You mentioned a board liaison, but I'm not quite sure who that is. Is that someone from the Board of Aldermen who communicates with the ABC board?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. And I'm serving as that right now.
We really don't have any authority, rules, guidelines on that. So that is really your designation. What do you want that person to do? Is it purely a communication situation, or is it, that's up to you. You can decide that, what their function is and what their responsibilities are. The local appointed ABC board and individual members, again, a lot of 701, 702 has to do with what their duties and responsibilities are. 18B 705 has to do with performance standards. And then 18B 706 has to do with ethics. Again, the mandatory ethics training that I mentioned. Regarding the general manager, the only thing really specifically required in our statutes is the bond. And that's under 18B 700, subparagraph I. The ABC board members who are appointed and the general manager are required to post a bond in order to serve. And then finally, the employees, again, that is very much a local board policy. I believe, maybe, I could be wrong, that North Carolina Association of ABC boards may have a sample personnel manual, but that is up to each ABC board to adopt their own personnel manual. They share it with the commission, so we have it on file, but however you want to set it up, as far as what employees are supposed to do, what their standards are, what their cause for termination is, all of that is really a local ABC board manual. I know that's a lot of information. I know I just threw numbers at you, but is there anything that I didn't answer clearly from your questions?
Start and go around the room. Mr. Lombardi, do you have any questions at this point?
I really don't have any questions, but I read through all the statutes and they were very helpful. So whatever you said, I've read it. Thank you.
Alderman Allen?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Alderman Alt?
Ma'am, if we have come up with a question later on, can we go to you and ask you the question, by email or something like that?
Yes, Dorothy, I believe, has my email, and she's free to share it. You certainly may reach out to anyone at the commission.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Can I just, if I can tag onto that, Rich, if you wouldn't mind. Maybe if we do individually have questions, maybe we can just submit them to Dory and she can copy all of us so all the board members have that info. Would that be okay?
John, you're correct, and I should have put that into my statement, is that I wouldn't send anything without all of you knowing what I'm asking.
In terms of our ABC board, Mr. Davis, any questions? Any comments?
At the time, I think the AB board has done exactly what she has said we have to do. When it comes to personnel matters, I think it's up to the ABC board to handle those, and that's what we have done in the past.
Thank you. Zach, any questions, comments?
One question I have is, what does oversight mean in terms of the Board of Aldermen?
The Board of Aldermen over the ABC board?
Yes.
Again, it's the money that the ABC board brings in. Some of that money goes back to the local government. There's the distribution statute in the 18B 800s. Such and such money goes to taxes, such and such money goes to expenses, and so on. So what the Board of Aldermen can do is request information. How are you getting these monies? Why are you only giving us this amount of money every quarter? And instead of we anticipated it would be that amount of money. So they can ask questions like that and get that information, because some of the money is going back to the jurisdiction that they're overseeing. And again, they do have the authority to remove a board member, an ABC board member, for cause for certain things if they're not complying with performance standards, if they're not complying with ethics standards. So it's not a day-to-day monitoring control, but they do have an interest in what the board is doing with it. Or I keep saying board, but I'm used to council versus board, so I apologize. Obviously, the Board of Aldermen has an interest in what the ABC board is doing and how well they're performing. And again, that's kind of a relationship thing as to how often you share, how well you share. There's no mandate on that, but obviously we would hope that you would communicate well with that and get along for the good of the community. But it's more of a, again, just like the commission, we may have some standards that we set in place for all the boards, but there are matters that are completely up to the individual boards. And as long as they're complying with their own standards and there's nothing illegal going on or criminal, then we'll just sit back and let them do their thing. When they start having questions, when they start having problems, that's when we'll come in. We usually ask the appointing authority to step in first, fix what's going on with the local ABC board. And if the local appointing authority won't do it, then we may step in. Again, it's your money. It's been voted in by your constituents. They're the ones who are spending the money in your area, so we try to leave it as local as possible, but if we have to step in, we will, and that's the same for the Board of Aldermen. They kind of let you do your thing, but if they have to, they can step in and remove someone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Wadsworth.
No questions at this time.
Todd, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions at this time.
Renaud.
Yes, ma'am, I have a follow-up question. Did I hear you correctly that the appointing authority has the right to give benefits to the employees of the ABC store? That's where that authority comes from?
They sometimes have shared the ability for the ABC board employees to participate in the program that the city government has, but it's not a mandate.
Right.
So sometimes, again, this is a relationship between the Board of Aldermen and the ABC board. Is that something that the Board of Aldermen and the town they represent can afford to do? Is it something the board is going to pay on behalf of the ABC board? Is going to pay on behalf of their employees? Is it an employee contribution? Yes, there is the ability for the appointing authority, county or city, to offer that type of benefit to the ABC board employees.
And potentially that the cost of that could be borne out of the profits of the ABC store.
If that's how it is worked out, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, ma'am.
Great. So, does anyone else want to make a statement, comments, anything like that from the?
I had a couple of questions.
Okay.
Can I ask a couple of questions? Hey, I'm Karen. I'm on the board too of all. I just had at 700 of Article 7. It appears to me that most of what the appointing board does is it says we can adjust compensation with the commission's approval, travel policy for the local board members, employee form to the travel policy appointing board. I went through and just clicked through the thing. The budget should be filed, the appointing, like much of what you said. What I didn't understand is it's to me like if there was an issue, it would really bubble up through the commission to the appointing board. Is that how I read it? Because unless, I don't know how we become aware of, say, an employment issue or something like that. It seemed to me that, that would be the C board's purview, not the board alderman. Can you hear me at all?
I've had a few words here and there.
Never mind, I'll write back. Never mind, I'll send you a question for Cory.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Question, comment? Zach?
I mean, I have some things I'd like to say, but it really doesn't involve the lawyer from the commission.
Are there any further comments or questions for Ms. Metz? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Metz, thank you for your presentation and your information, and I appreciate your willingness to accept questions from our boards, and they will send them to the city clerk, and she will send them to you. So thank you.
That's great. That's what we like doing, is helping people understand. For everybody get it right and get along, then be out there doing their thing. So we're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, well, I'm going to quote that. You said to get it right and get along. So that's what we'll do. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Zach. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, for having this joint meeting. I think it was beneficial. But over the past few months, I've been contemplating whether or not to ask to be reappointed. And at this point, I'd like to just submit a complaint. And the complaint is to the Board of Aldermen regarding the manner in which we have been mistreated as citizen volunteers of the ABC Board and the manager of the ABC store, and in doing so, all citizen volunteers serving all the city's boards and committees. I want you to know clearly that no committee or board of the city comprised of citizen volunteers should be treated as we have by the aldermen. We have been disrespected, devalued, and used as political pawns. With the reappointment of Mr. Davis back in July, the ABC Board accepted applications for the open position in which Mr. Davis requested to be reappointed following a flawed procedure for reappointments. The first go-around, only 2 applicants other than Mr. Davis met the deadline. Both applications were reviewed, and following standard search committee procedures, it was determined that neither applicant came close to meeting the needs of the ABC Board, and that Mr. Davis was in fact the best person to be brought forward for that reappointment. It seemed at the time it would be disrespectful to interview 2 applicants and waste their time. The second go-around, all applicants were interviewed as required by the Board of Aldermen, and the result remained the same. Mr. Davis was the person most appropriate and should be reappointed for the ABC Board. When Mr. Davis's nomination was brought forward to the Board of Aldermen for reappointment, the simple and appropriate request turned into the most disrespectful and embarrassing spectacle I have ever witnessed. Why didn't the mayor of the ABC Board liaison nominate Mr. Davis? Why was the ABC store manager put in a position that led to the most disrespectful encounter by an alderman? Why was another alderman allowed to nominate another person from the floor without being part of the process required by the Board of Aldermen? Why were the motions brought forward and voted on during the meeting related to the ABC Board without a clear understanding of the workings of the ABC Board? And why did Alderman want to have a 5-member ABC board? The agenda item was to vote on reappointing Mr. Davis. These questions, along with comments made by Aldermen related to looking at candidates that might be better or younger, another Alderman bringing up issues of not knowing the ABC board is doing, not receiving minutes, and other comments made during the meeting made it apparent that the Board of Aldermen were acting without good information, had certain individuals they wanted on the ABC board, or were using the ABC board as political pawns. An alderman complained to the ABC Commission that the ABC board was not submitting minutes. The minutes of the ABC board are always made available to the public and in the past we have not been required to distribute them specifically to the Board of Aldermen or posted on the city website. That's a new thing. The monthly review report and this past year, summaries of our meetings and actions have been regularly submitted to the city clerk, and recently, when Alderman liaisons have attended the meetings, they gave a report during the Board of Aldermen meetings. Shortly after the Alderman meeting related to all these discussions and votes related to the ABC board, an Alderman put out a misinformation on his official public access Facebook page. He informed the public that members of the ABC board are paid thousands of dollars a year, that members make more than some citizens of Southport, and then ended with this information needing to be verified. The post disappeared shortly after it was made, but it was never retracted, the post, or apologized to the ABC board members for leading the public on and muddying the waters. Once the information goes out and is read, it does not go away. The aldermen have since posted other information, suggestions, questions related to the ABC board on his official public Facebook page that clearly are overstepping his role as an alderman. Inconsistencies. The same alderman who complained to the commission that she was not receiving minutes of the ABC board meetings, yet I have not seen forestry committee minutes posted, and she is their liaison. And returning members of the Forestry Committee were nominated and voted on by the aldermen for reappointment without being interviewed. The ABC Board and the staff of the ABC store have been successful in providing the city of Southport over the past few years with a substantial amount of money, even during the beginnings of the pandemic, when bars and restaurants struggling could not purchase alcohol as they had previously, and when we were in the process of building a new store, which, by the way, has come in under budget. Every ABC board in Brunswick County, including boards that have 2 stores, have 3 members. I have found in doing spot check, most if not all 1-store boards have 3 members. The current ABC board has been able to consistently provide thoughtful, informed, and good service to the store and to the city. Mr. Davis, as the chair, has provided continuity, wisdom, and historical knowledge, as Dr. Wadsworth and I are in our first terms. So instead of being commended for a job well done, we have been disrespected, devalued, and seem to be the political pawn of some of the aldermen. Why would any citizen want to volunteer to be on a committee or board if that is how we are to be treated? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Dr. Wadsworth.
Yes, my name is Dr. Angela Wadsworth. I wrote, and the Stateport Pilot printed in their letters to the editor section, a letter as a member of the ABC board in Southport, correcting the false assumptions, lies that have been stated, and unacceptable behavior directed at our ABC store manager about the ABC board at the July 14th, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting. One of the things noted in the letter was that up until that point in time, not one single alderman had made the effort to so much as attend an ABC board meeting and appeared to have absolutely no clue as to what it is we do. The aldermen who do have an understanding of what we do have not taken it upon themselves to publicly spread misinformation and know that they can approach any one of us at any time with questions or concerns. Additionally, the mayor is our liaison to the Board of Aldermen should they wish to communicate directly with him. Only one alderman has attended an ABC board meeting since my letter dated July 25th and published in the July 27th edition of our local newspaper, the State Port Pilot. This alderman is the one who self-identified at her visit as having requested the board be expanded from 3 to 5 members, and when asked why, her only response was, well, what if someone is on vacation? Seriously? As adults, we're quite capable of communicating with one another and have on rare occasion changed a meeting date when necessary. Hardly a logical rationale to change a system that has been in place in Southport for 5 decades and has been working well. In my letter, one alderman's disrespectful, dismissive behavior toward our store manager, Mr. Todd Dunn, was called out. This behavior can be viewed by pulling up the July 14, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting. All such meetings are recorded as a matter of public record. Every single thing referenced in my letter is readily visible by pulling up the July meeting and viewing it online as I did. The letter that I wrote was not a, quote, diatribe, unquote, as this alderman falsely referred to it on his social media page, but a logical, carefully considered, methodical address to issues and problems. In this letter, I asked, does the Board of Aldermen intend to provide the same level of scrutiny to every single As Mr. Schulte noted, returning members of the Forestry Committee were not subjected to an interview process, but were voted in at the most recent Board of Aldermen meeting. Obviously, there are several sets of rules in play here, one for the ABC Board and another for other city boards. This particular alderman maintains a Facebook page with his name, followed by the phrase, for Alderman 2021, giving the impression that this was set up while he was running for office. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue is that since he's gotten in office, he has used this official public Facebook page to publish misinformation and lies regarding the ABC Board and complain about the letter that was published in the paper that I wrote, in which I stated clearly his unacceptable behavior at the July Board of Aldermen meeting. Here is one example of a false post by this alderman on quote. On a second topic, you may have seen or heard of the debate over the ABC Board appointment. As we get closer to the date, the alderman will have to vote on this topic. I will write more on why there is not uniformity among the board members on the process. However, my first question that no one has ever answered, quote, why do some people want to be on the ABC Board, unquote, just came to light. If what I read is correct, I will verify. The salaries of the Southport ABC Board range from $66,638 to $104,615. Now keep in mind that these salaries are set by the state, but given that they are significantly higher, misspelling, H-I-R-E-R, than most Southport citizens make, I'm thinking a lot more scrutiny, transparency, and in-depth selection process has to be created before any new appointments are made. This post was forwarded to me via screenshot on July 31st by a Southport citizen. Needless to say, this alderman took down his post and never stated it for what it was. An ill-informed set of lies that he wasted no time putting on a public post and then hastily took down. No effort was made to follow this up with an acknowledgement that his post was completely erroneous. No apology was made to the ABC board members for posting this false information. Just to be clear, according to state ABC bylaws, the maximum amount to be paid is $150 per meeting. This is public information and readily available on the ABC website. Here in Southport, I receive $100 per meeting, and typically we meet once a month, more often if we need to. As I have taxes taken out of this stipend monthly, my net amount received monthly is $92.35. To be transparent, quote unquote, I'm quite happy with this amount and am not petitioning to have it changed. None of us is doing this for the money. We are citizen volunteers. Several things need to be explained carefully to this alderman. One is that once you put something out online, you can take it down and pretend you have erased it, but it never goes away. Once something is seen or heard, it can't be unseen or unheard. Perhaps there should be a social media policy. Other government bodies and institutions have had such a policy in place for years now. The push by some on the Board of Aldermen to increase the board size from 3 to 5 is unnecessary and, quite frankly, insulting. At the insistence of the Board of Aldermen, we brought in and met with several candidates because the Board of Aldermen have been delaying reappointment of Mr. Davis for months now. As Mr. Zolke has noted, Mr. Davis's historical knowledge of the city and ABC Board is invaluable and a major asset. His thoughtful, well-considered work on the board would seem to count for nothing. Other board reappointments are not handled in this fashion, which begs the question, what's really going on here? One of the candidates we interviewed has been heard by several store employees while in the ABC store. We live in a small town, remember? Saying that she can't wait to get on the ABC store board as she and her husband are bourbon aficionados, and she will make the manager order what they want to drink. Thankfully, not all applicants appear to be so self-serving. As Mr. Zolke has already stated, we as a board have managed, working with Todd Dunn, our store manager, to bring the new store build in at several $100,000 under budget. The hard work of our manager, store employees, and the ABC board has resulted in the city being on track to receive at least $500,000 in revenue from the store by the year's end. As previously noted, we are citizen volunteers. We don't receive over $1,000 a month for meeting. We don't micromanage our manager. We can and do make suggestions and ask questions if we have them. Bottom line, the lines of communication are open and fluid between us and the store manager. All of the store employees have met us and know us by name and face, and we have made it clear to them that they can reach out to us at any time with suggestions or concerns. In short, we treat them with respect, the same way we would like to be treated but are not treated by what appear to be the most vocal members of the Board of Aldermen. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's good for everyone to make comments, and let's get things out in the open. And board, Mr. Lombardi, we'll start with you. Any comments, questions?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, I didn't know too much about the board, and but I did read this, and I'm really happy that I'm here to learn the ins and outs of the board. And I will pay more attention from now on. Thank you.
Alderman Allen.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So yeah, a lot of the information that the ABC board has brought to us today was new to me. Not all of it was. Some of the specifics are. I'll apologize on behalf of myself, since that's all I can do, for whatever role I've played in creating this situation. It was certainly unintentional on my part. I have no issue with the ABC board or how the ABC store is run. And it would be my hope that if not on Thursday, I don't know, I haven't seen the agenda yet, but if this is on the agenda, I would hope that we can go ahead and reappoint Mr. Davis and end all this and rebuild bridges of trust between the Board of Aldermen and the ABC board and move forward together.
Thank you, well said, and it is on the agenda. Alderman Alt.
No, if the ABC commissioner person was on the board, Renee, I would have thanked her, but she's off now. But I want to thank everybody for coming, and that's all I have.
Thank you. And we will move forward from this. We know more about the ABC board. We know the importance of having historical and institutional knowledge that Mr. Davis has. I appreciate the ABC board. They work hard. They meet every month. The manager, Todd, works hard. The store is successful. It's doing very well. They came through a pandemic and built a store, and so they should be commended for for their work, and I thank you for that. And I'm very happy to meet with you as liaison every month. And if you want me to continue to do so, I will. If you would like to have a different alderman, we can certainly do that too. And I, along with Alderman Allen, if there is a role that I played that helped to cause this issue, I certainly offer my apology as well. We're all learning. The ABC board is not something that y'all have worked for 50 years quietly and earnestly and have done well. And now that we know more about the function, we'll move forward in a better way, a more trustful way. And if there are issues, bring them out, bring them to us. And Board of Aldermen, if you know of issues, bring them out, bring them to me as liaison. We'll go through the appropriate channels through the chairman of the ABC board here in town. Mr. Davis, do you have any final comments, anything you'd like to say?
Yes, Lola. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a public speaker. I'm just an ordinary citizen. I was born here. I probably hope I die here. I was appointed to the ABC board approximately 10 years ago under the leadership of Robert Jones and Mr. Harold Spencer. And we work very close together. And we have accomplished a lot. The store has grown in the last 8 years, from remodeling to a brand new store. And it's always been profitable. I do not try to micromanage the manager, because that's his job. That's what he get paid for, to manage the store. We are there to support and help the store to improve for the citizens of Southport. I don't know how all this got started, but it seemed like we was used as a pawn in the political aspect of this. And I think it was wrong. I think 3 persons on the board is sufficient. We go through a lot. We come to an agreement. Sometimes we don't agree, but we learn to agree. Some of my history was in the military. I'm a family man. Some of my relatives worked at the ABC store. I had a first cousin was on the board of aldermen. So I got a life history in the city of Southport, and I'll do anything that I can to make Southport grow. I have seen a lot of changes. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, but we live through it all. I give the board credit for everything that has been done for the store, especially the manager of the store, Mr. Todd, with his leadership. All the members, the employees of the store, I was there to hire them. And I have an insight on all of them. I'm not saying that we don't have any complaints. We have complaints and we deal with those complaints. We might not deal with them in a time that you think we should deal in, but we do deal with them. We have come up with different policies to put in place for each and every employee, the manager, and the board. I don't know what else that we can do as a three-member board. But from my opinion, after 50-some years of a three-person board, what more you want? And that's all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service to our country. And coming up next week, Veterans Day, we'll be acknowledging that service again as well. Thank you for your service here in Southport. A decade on the ABC board is definitely commendable. On any board is commendable. Anyone else that has a comment?
Just real quickly,
Yes.
no complaint or anything, but like we talked about the store being profitable. Just to give you a little information, last fiscal year, we gave the city of Southport $621,000, a little over $621,000. Law enforcement, $27,000 to local law enforcement, and then $37,000 to alcohol education rehab, which we sponsor the Anchor Initiative through the Brunswick County Sheriff's Department. Our total sales last year was mixed beverage and retail was over $5.4 million, and $1.5 million of that was to the restaurants. I get a lot of questions on why do I favor restaurants so much. From a business aspect, we get a big part of our profits from the restaurants. From a customer service aspect, they cannot buy anywhere but my store. They cannot go to other stores. And in the previous time talking to other people with the state, they don't, again, like they said, they don't make us do anything, but they like to see it go to the restaurant because 20 people can have a drink of that one item instead of one person taking it home and keeping it for themselves. But the biggest thing is we get a lot of profit from them, and they cannot buy anywhere. They can't go to South Carolina and bring it back up here. They can't order it on the side market. And talking about new procedures, we have come up with a new bourbon procedure. First and foremost, the restaurants gets first dibs at the bourbons, what's left over, which I'm trying to save at least a bottle of all the state calls allocated. If you visit our website, southportabcstore.com, I have a page that says all of the state allocated items. I won't have all those items, but I have them all listed. And it has the procedure here soon. We're not releasing the date until the day before. We'll be having a release date where they'll say tomorrow morning at so-and-so time, everybody shows up. If I got 100 people in line, I'll have raffle tickets. Everybody will get a raffle ticket, and it'll be drawn. I'm going to try to find somebody neutral to do the drawing to where there'll be no question on if I drew somebody's intentionally. But that will be here soon. We're not releasing the date. We're trying to keep it as local, and that's always been my goal, is to keep it as local as possible. And also, any reports that you need, I didn't know if you'd asked for this meeting. I brought in a few showing our yearly growth and everything, but if you ever, any reports, we're, like I said, we are a public entity. If you want it, all you have to do is ask, but I will be sending the minutes and the monthly sales every month. But if you want annual, I do my accounting every month, then we have a Minton Paget does my quarterly books, and then we have another person does my annual CPA. So I technically have two people overlooking my book work behind me, my bookkeeping behind me. So any kind of quarterly P&Ls you want, whenever my Minton sends me my final P&Ls, monthly, history, whatever you want, I'll provide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Good
Duke,
comments.
for putting that policy together.
What's that?
Thank you very much for putting that policy together on the restricted liquor. And if I'm in the store when that is happening, no, I will not get a ticket. It's okay. But I appreciate that work.
And one thing on the policy is employees during the raffle will not have a chance at it. But if it's the afternoon and everything's died down and we still have bottles left over, we talked it over to the board, and our customers are also local, so if we have anything left over, they will have a shot a chance at a bottle, but once the initial 100 people show up to get the verdict. And that's it.
No, thank you so much for that report. Y'all have done amazing work just in the time that I've been liaison in these policies and allocating the purpose and facing other issues. Again, building a store, going through the pandemic, and y'all are a hardworking, functioning board, and we appreciate all that you do for the city and the amount of money that you raise and that you give to the city, including $10,000 to the elementary school. So we appreciate that. And I think we all have a better understanding of the function of the ABC board and how it relates to the Board of Aldermen. And as I say, we'll keep moving forward. If there are no further comments, thank you all for being here, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Alderman Allen, and second by Mr. Lombardi. All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.